Tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars of income, expensive houses, cars, jewelry, hobbies. This is the lifestyle of many successful creators. But is this long-term? Will we see many of the creators going broke due to the lack of the financial planning and the foresight? In today's video, I'm gonna share a cautionary tale, a couple of ways to avoid that fate, and how creators can invest in their own future. Welcome to the TohirT channel. My name is Tahir, and let's do this. Used to make six figures, broke. You do not want to see the combination of those two in the title of the video by your favorite creator, but unfortunately, this is the situation Luke Korns faced late last year.
So there was a time period in my life where I would make 6 figures a year. It's a lot of money. And to make matters even more intense, I was only 19 or 20 at the peak of this financial success. And now I'm broke.
YouTube loves consistency, yet Luke, with his change, broke two different consistency rules. He changed completely the type of content he produced, and he paused and broke the frequency of his uploads. With that, by the time he was back, YouTube did not show him the same amount of love. Luke's channel is in the limbo, where he no longer sees the same type of views and the same type of AdSense revenue from his content. Luke's story got me thinking, how is that the creator of his talent with the amount of funds that he used to have did not save for a rainy day? I quickly realized he was just a kid. He was a kid who came across large sums of money. He did not have the financial education or the foresight to go and think through how he can plan throughout his entire rest of the career on spending that money. Instead, he was spending them right then, right now, without ever really giving it a second guess. Clearly, no one taught him the financial planning. The boring topics we get to appreciate only as adults. This is why I decided to make this video, to show the path to creators like Luke, who have the funds, who have the means, yet do not know the kind of paths that are available to them from both their channel and all the different alternative investments. Hoarding a cash is an option, but instead, I want to talk about something that's a little bit more long-term. The two types of investments that you can make: investment in your own content or investment in other types of businesses. Starting with the investment in your own content, there are another two branching paths, one of them being broadening the type of the investments that you make or deepening your knowledge and your expertise within a certain type of content. Starting with the latter, my favorite example is MKBHD. I spoke with him in this video. Marquise is great in further exploring the vertical of the tech videos on YouTube. He invested over $1 million in his studio, all the gadgets and tech in it. He hired a team, everything in the name of ever bettering the quality of the tech videos that his team produces. This is a very viable path for the creators because they're already in that vertical, they know it pretty well, and it's all about getting better at it. The pros of this approach: you know exactly what you need to do to make it better. You can look across the field, you can understand the type of things that you can improve on, and you keep doing that. The cons of this approach is the fact that you're still within the same category. So if something happens to that video category, it'll be that much harder and that much more expensive for you to pivot in something completely different. The alternative to deepening the tranche in which you sit is broadening the type of content that you produce, but still staying within the same themes. Examples can be multiple different creators who start their own podcast. Take Logan Paul and his Impulsive podcast. You can think of alternative channels that the creators start. For example, LTT has now a plethora of different channels where they cover other different topics within the same tech niche. Or Ali Abdal, someone I mentioned in this video, who essentially decided to go and replicate his content and maybe add additional minutes to each video or create additional layers of education that he produces within the similar kind of content and place it on other platforms. For the creators, this is a great approach. You can start thinking about other types of content that your audience would be interested in, other platforms where your audience would reside and where they would consume the content, or maybe this is your opportunity to start discovering new type of audience that, for example, do not necessarily consume this type of information in the video format, but will be very much open to consuming it in the podcast format. The pros of this approach is pretty clear. You're still within the same realm, you still have the expertise, but now you just get to create it in other forms and factors. But the consideration there is that it takes a lot more work. Videos alone take a ton of work to produce, but now all of a sudden you have to become an expert in the podcasting, you have to be an expert in the live streaming, other types and forms of content that you'll produce, or you'll have to start hiring a team of professionals to take over those niches. So it's definitely a bit of an investment in both the attention span and the effort. The two non-creative approaches to the investment can be investing in the extension of your brand, but in other forms, or by investing in completely different types of brands. Starting with the latter, there are different opportunities for the creators to go and apply the funds that they've generated in the creator economy and invest them into other businesses. This is a very old school approach, and you can think of one of my favorite examples, Amaranth, someone I spoke about in this video, who've been on a roll for the past year or so with different types of investments. She invested into the inflatable pool company, into the toy company, like I have to clarify due to the type of the content that she produces, and she also even invested into like a 7-Eleven and a gas station. So completely different non-creator related businesses that she now owns. The pros of this approach are pretty clear. They're completely unrelated to your creator brand. So if anything happens to YouTube, anything happens to your personal brand on YouTube, those businesses are not affected at all. They're on their own, they're independent. You can continue running them even after you retire. The consideration is that you have to have the interest in running those businesses, and or you'll have to hire a management company to both help you manage your brand as well as all of those businesses surrounding it. It's work, it's dedicated attention, it's dedicated interest in those spaces. And many creators, they're in this business just because they enjoy creating and not necessarily managing those offshoot businesses. The alternative is building your own brand that is not necessarily creative-based brand. Examples: Emma Chamberlain's Coffee, you have Sides by Sideman, you have Not Me Only by Matti Haapoja, all the different kind of businesses that represent really the passion projects by those creators that are not necessarily dependent on the video, audio, or say some sort of like image content. These are the great alternatives because they usually are born from other interests that the creators have. The audience that the creators amass through their channels know them for those passion projects. In there lies the positive of going down this route, because your audience knows you for those passion projects. They will gladly go support and invest at least once into one of those products that you created. The downside is you will not always know exactly whether you really have something interesting on your hands, because again, your audience is passionate supporter. They want to support you, so they will go and they acquire for the first time the product, but will they become the repeated buyers is the whole nother challenge. And since you're still tied in your personal brand to that brand that you created, anything happens to your personality online will directly affect those brands. So the diversity definitely lacking compared to your other alternatives where you do not necessarily put your name above that door. Oh, and hey, let's not forget, you will probably still need a management company to run it, because it's time and it's an attention that you will probably need to create the content. There are two bonus options that we can touch on. One being, you can try to catch that lightning in a bottle that helped the creator become successful and replicate it with the other creators. These two examples from Mythical and the Tiny Meat Gang are great in the sense that they allow them to leverage all that experience and expertise that they develop, apply it to a newer creator, grow them, and who knows, maybe eventually those creators will take the seat of you, original creator, in front of that camera. The other flavor of all three of these approaches can be getting some of that revenue up front to invest early and start this process early. You have creator-led funds like the one I discussed in this Mythical video. You also have companies like Jelly Smack that now is playing in the content licensing business. You have some of the OGs like a Spotter who allow you to essentially sell your future revenues up front and invest them right now. Those are very rich topics. There are a lot of successes and failures and pitfalls that the creators have to be aware of. I'm going to talk about them in the future videos, so stick around. For now, my main point is that getting to that top, getting to that successful position where you have those funds as a creator is tough. Continuing and maintaining it is a completely different ball game. I just sliced the very top of each one of those special sections for the type of investments that the creators can make. We can go a lot more in depth. There are a lot more options and opportunities for the creators out there, and ultimately they should be considering them as they grow their career, especially if they want to continue making it a full-time occupation, because trends change, viewers' habits change, YouTube might change the policies. So as you hit that successful point, as you have those funds, you should not be really spending them on the houses and the cars. You should enjoy your life, but you should be thinking long term. And this is where you need different options. You have to be educated and you have to start assembling the team around you. I've been thinking on this topic a lot in the past year, and I'm happy to continue talking about it through this kind of videos, in the comment section, or just reach out directly. I'm interested in finding out how else can we help those creators, because a lot of these creators spend a lot of their time, their passion, their dedication to keep us entertained, to brighten our day with their content. I would love to see them being successful years upon years. As for Luke, I would love to see him navigate this current limbo, get out of that hole, so to speak, continue evolving his new type of content that he really enjoys, and hopefully make it back to the top with now all of that experience to leverage and help not only the creators, but maybe other business professionals who are transferring over into the creator economy. Have you ever heard about Luke Korn's story? Are you aware of other creators who are facing a similar kind of situation? And what are the other paths that the creators can take in their effort to solidify the foundation where they are today and to help keep their career going? Share your thoughts, ideas, or examples in the section below. This is why I enjoy the creator space so much. This is why I've been spending so much time learning about the creator economy, consuming this content and retelling those stories. I feel like we're, again, just at the very inception. There are a lot more things that will happen. There are a lot more lessons that we will learn, a lot more mistakes that we will make, and we'll figure out how to not repeat them again. And if you're like me, who is interested in this industry, you would like to learn more about it, or you would like to find other examples of inspirational individuals who are very good at it, well, there are plenty of them on this channel because I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video with some of your friends. Here are a few videos for you to enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!